Good evening and welcome to the Clyde FC Podcast, brought to you by A State of Mind. My name is Paul Shanks, and with me, as now is the case weekly, at present is Craig Black. Craig, how you doing?
I'm good. How you going? You all right?
Yeah, not bad. Have you thawed out from last night?
A little bit. Hands are back to normal skin colour again, and it was Baltic. It was Baltic.
But worth it.
Respect it.
Well worth it. Really worth it.
And Captain Positivity, Mr. John Boyce, how you doing, sir?
Reporting for duty, mate. Yeah, all good club, and positive platform to build on. So I'm ready to go.
Yep, it has been a very successful week on the pitch for the club, which we will come to. Just a couple of points that the club have asked me to cover tonight. One of them is unfortunately some sad news for those of you that have saw on the website today. The club have lost yet another lifelong Clyde supporter in Eric Lennon. Eric was a Clyde fan for 60 plus years. He was one of the founding members of the Castlemilk branch, and it was a beautiful article, I thought, on the website. A couple of memories from John Taylor, Gordon Nisbet, Danny obviously mentioning as well, and the players and the boys last night have dedicated the fantastic victory last night in memory of Eric. We would just like to pass on our deepest condolences from all of us at the Clyde FC Podcast to Eric and his family and friends. And hope you are all doing as well as you can. So, secondly, the Clyde Grand National Sweepstake. The club have asked me just to put a last minute call out. We have had a fantastic response to this. There are 106 horses sold, so we're in our third lot of horses. There's only 14 remaining as of going live tonight. So if you do want to win one of the fantastic prizes, which I will just quickly run off, it's just £20 per horse, and this will get you one of the prizes. There's 3 lots of prizes as well, I should add. First prize will be a season ticket for next season. Second, hospitality for 4 at a league match during next season, pandemic allowing. Third, signed Clyde jersey by a player of your choice. Fourth is club ownership for next season. And fifth place will be a £30 voucher for the club shop. So emails will be going out to all participants in either tonight or tomorrow morning. If you do want to still enter, £20 per horse, and you'll be able to find the details on the Clyde website. Okay, so formalities over, and let's look back on the football, gents. It's been another hectic week, 3 matches, and I don't think anyone envisaged it being just as good as it actually turned out for us. Craig, come to yourself. What were your overall thoughts on this team?
It's been brilliant. The Ayr United game, first of all, was one of those kind of double jeopardy ones where you want them to win, but you don't want another game in the schedule. But brilliant. What a performance they put in against a really good championship side. None of us were really expecting a win, I don't think. I think we're all hoping for it, but they were well worthy of it. They played superb. Big Kevin Nicol was an absolute standout. And then to go with the Cove game at home just a couple of days later, and I think we should have won it. With a big, we'll cover that obviously later, but a big shout for a penalty, but a good point against the team at second top, and then an excellent 3 points last night as well. So rounded off a fantastic week.
Yeah, Boyce, I'm assuming you're just probably going to echo those sentiments.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, through in the cup, 4 points from 2 league matches. I think I agree with Craig in the fact that we should have probably got something more out of the Cove game. I think we put the energy and effort in to get the win, but sometimes it doesn't go your way. I would have taken a point before the game, so got to be happy with that. And the amount of games we've played, I don't think the boys have looked fatigued as many of us would have maybe expected. So, yeah, all in all, a great week, and long may it continue.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And the comments are already coming in. Please do get involved if you've got a question for us that you want us to take. We do have a guest as well. I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Coming up in the second half of the show, Boyce has just dropped out. I'm hoping he will be back with us. We'll carry on regardless. Some will say the aesthetics just increased somewhat there. I'll say that with Lee's not here. Lost my train of thought now. CRAIG HOWIE will be joining us, in the second half of the show to talk about a couple of absolute worldies that he scored, and obviously just the actual fixture list, how things are, the players are holding up, how he's holding up, and looking ahead to another hectic week, as we seem to be saying every single week at present. So apologies, the comments coming in, I think it was Robbie, who basically said, a good win for the Goodwillie last night, think he'll be safe from the drop. Early doors, but yeah, I think the last 2 weeks, we've got 8 points out of a possible 18. Sorry, my maths is terrible. Can't really grumble too much about that, Craig.
No, I don't think so. I think that, as we've all said, the lads are putting in some shift. You know, when you think they're getting home for, what was it, Peterhead at 2 a.m, and then they're getting up to go to their work, and then they're playing the next day. They've been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, no, the week we've had's been excellent. 4 points out of those 6. As I said, we could have had the 6, but 4 points out of those 6 would have taken that at the start of the week, especially getting the 3 points against Forfar last night, because it builds that wee gap that we've got with them now. So, no, I think we're hopefully after the next 2 games we can keep looking up the way. Yeah,
boys say Craig sung a song when you were away, but it was a one-time offer only.
I know, it's not happening again.
So we'll go back to last Saturday, the Scottish Cup tie. Craig, you touched upon it. It was a match that very few Clyde fans had any real enthusiasm for, I think it's safe to say. Boise, come to yourself, did you have any real hope, without being too disparaging to the team, given the efforts that they put into that point? Did you give as much of a hope at pulling off that cup shock?
Listen, it's the Scottish Cup. Anything can happen. We've seen that in the past, and even seen it this season with Aurora putting Hearts out. So it was never a case of we're definitely not going to win. I think the odds were certainly, against us. But listen, put in a fantastic shift. Kevin Nicol was fantastic, and yeah, just a great team performance and fantastic result.
Yeah, boys, we're having a wee bit of audio issues with you, just a wee bit quiet just now. Craig, we'll come back to yourself. The lineup, it was rotation galore. 6 changes from the East Fife defeat, just over 41 hours prior to that. Were you happy enough with the starting lineup and confident that it was going to get the job done?
I was quite surprised. I think we all touched on it the couple of weeks leading up to it, that they would have put in a lot of the younger guys and more kind of fringe players just to get the cup game out of the way. But it went with quite a strong forward-thinking squad, I thought, our starting 11. And the goal was absolutely brilliant. Cracking move down the left, cut across for Barry to hit it in. It was, they played some good stuff as well. But no, I was surprised at how strong it went. I really was.
Yeah, there was a couple of, I would maybe say, surprise guys coming in who hadn't probably seen as much in the way of minutes in the kind of games that had obviously been. The early goal you mentioned came from a guy who's played quite a lot of minutes, Ross Cunningham, breaking down the left-hand side. It was borderline Thierry Henry-esque, Boise.
Yeah, absolutely. How's the audio now? Is it working?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Fantastic. First time having technical difficulties, so we made it while there. Ross Cunningham, what can you say? Just pace, energy, desire. Beat his man, squared it across, and a very impressive Barry Cuddihy this week, I thought. Finished it off. Barry has definitely shown that midfield is a place he can play, to me. He's full of energy, full of desire again. I'm sure we'll go on to the Cove game where he showed that in abundance and got us a great assist. But yeah, the Ross Cunningham played really well against Ayr, I thought, alongside everyone else, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a match that every last player done a power of running. Ross Cunningham, certainly one of them. I thought Ali on the left-hand side just didn't stop
What a
for
shift.
90 minutes. The fact that he's a Kelly fan may have helped him a wee bit of motivation for himself. But yeah, Ali's like that though. He will give you absolutely every last ounce of energy. The defensive display, I thought, come back to yourself, boys, say the defence, very, very, very good. I thought Mitch only really called upon once.
We defended really well. You've mentioned Mitch, he's done a couple of good saves, I thought. He does what he's asked when called upon. I thought he was up there for man of the match alongside Kevin Nicol. But I wanted to highlight kind of Lloyd Robertson as well. I thought he had a good game coming in for his first start of the calendar year, and he partnered Nicol really well in the middle. And for me, that's where we won the game, which a few of us might not have expected, but a happy surprise there. Too right.
I agree with that.
Yeah, John Anderson, very an honest football fan. Here we go. Saying, I slotted the team 2 weeks ago for the defending. Well done to the guys for turning it around. I've never been so glad to be proved wrong. I think we were all on that boat. There was genuine concerns after, especially the East Fife game, the first game back. Those kind of ugly fears just reared their heads again. But since then, I think there was a few stats I read that they've had 4 clean sheets in that time in the 8 games.
We were losing 2-3 goals a game before that as well.
Well, glad it's not just me. Yeah,
I know.
Excited.
So I thought the last 15-20 minutes I was expecting Air to come at us. Craig, I'm not sure how you felt. But it never seemed to come beat.
I think especially you were expecting Tyre Leicester to come into it against that full-time team, and it never really showed. They had a couple of flourishes near the end, but the boys defended brilliant. They defended from the front, middle and back. They were really, really good on Saturday. Really good.
Yeah, and they also saw some game time for a certain striker coming back from a niggling injury that kept him out the games. Good, he got 20 minutes. Didn't do a lot of running. I thought he was maybe conserving himself. Thankfully he did, as we'll come to discuss. So we've made it through. We're in the last 16, again, for the second season in a row. We've been drawn away to St Johnstone, and a tie against Celtic or Rangers awaits us in the quarter-finals once we dispatch of the Super Jays. So are we planning Monday off in May for the final, guys?
I think we need to.
Yeah, you'd love to think so. That's the really interesting thing that I've been thinking all week. Are we going to be in a position in the league where we can prioritise that St Johnstone game so that we can get the potential windfall of an old firm team away in the cup? I'm kind of bordering on I want a nice cup run, so I'd like to see us put a full team out against St Johnstone, but I don't know how you guys or the guys listening think.
I think it will. Yeah. I think they'll put a full team out against them. I think it will. I think every one of them will want to play in it anyway, because there's a big prize at the other end of that 90 minutes. They've got an away trip to Celtic or Rangers, as you say, if we can get through St Johnstone, which, let's face it, they're a top 6 side in the SPL away from home. It's going to be a big ask, but they'll enjoy it.
And we're up against a familiar face in midfield and one Craig Bryson.
Yep.
Hopefully, I think I saw somebody tweet saying that he's going to be the first player to score a hat-trick of own goals. So I would never wish it upon you, Bryson, but in this case, I might just.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
It would be. So, yeah, cup success, very welcome, if a little surprising. Back to league duty. The games just keep coming thick and fast. Cove Rangers at home. Cove highly fancied to gain promotion, despite just obviously coming straight up from League 2 and previously the Highland League. We beat them in the reverse 3-2. Some would say a draw might have been fairer, albeit we'll always take 3 points ahead of the 2. The match itself would be, Craig, good point or 2 dropped?
Both. I think it was a good point before the match. I think we'd all be quite happy with taking a point at home against Cove, sitting second top, going for it, And but during the course of the game, I think we had enough and showed enough that we should have won it. I think the chances were there, and as we spoke about, I know we can't change things that have happened, and referees make decisions or don't make decisions, but there was a huge shout for a penalty. I've never seen every Clyde player claim it the way they did. Every single player was screaming for it. I was screaming for it as well. But
Craig, we've told you not to do that.
I couldn't help it. But there was, as I said, we done the family fortunes thing. We asked 100 people, was that a penalty? And only 3 said no, and that was the 3 guys in the officialdom in that game on the Tuesday night. But hey ho, so it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boise.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's the way it goes. It does seem to happen at that end, strangely enough, quite a lot. But you've just got to roll with the punches. As I said before, I think it was an even game. I don't think there was much in it either side. The goal we conceded, maybe a bit sloppy. Yeah, so disappointing there. We got back, into it with Barry Cudahy not giving the ball up, which is good to see. And then having the wherewithal to square it to DG9 for a lovely finish. Yeah. At that point, I really thought we were in the ascendancy. I thought we were going to go and pick something up. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be the case. But listen, you've said it yourself. Cove are up there looking for the league title in their first season. They're a great outfit under Hartley, and I'll take a point against them in our position just now any day of the week. Yeah,
it was quite interesting. Tom Lang getting put on up top with Goodie as well. That was wasn't really expected, but he done really well for the goal. He showed a good bit of battle to win that ball and ping it across, which ended up over at Barry.
Your typical centre half up front. It was a good slide tackle that got the cross in.
Sometimes it's just about keeping the ball alive.
That's a
simple thing. Yeah. Just keep the ball alive, and you never know what can happen. And Tom did brilliantly, as you say, John, just to get the ball back in. Wee bit of a break, nice pass to Barry. The initial shot was blocked, and John, you touched upon it. I think the speed of thought from Barry was brilliant. To just, it would be easy enough to lash at that in the volley, but instead, you see, looks up, sees Goodie 6 yards out, slots it across, and Goodie tucks it away.
And listen, that was good to see as well, because Danny has mentioned that he wants the players to have that relaxed confidence when they're in the final third, to have that final ball, because I think a few times too many we've seen players snatch at balls and try and rush it, but Barry did the thing that Danny was asking for there. He's taking the ball down, been calm, had a look and picked his man. So yeah, long may that continue.
Danny's been shouting a lot to tell them to get their head up before, and have a look. So he had a good shout at Goodie at that last night as well. So
yeah, Mark Stewart commenting on obviously Tom Lang and David Goodwillie partnership up top, that they were very much a difference in the last 2 games. Both made an impact from the bench against Cove. We'll move ahead, because the next one is a much more positive result. A point against Cove, very good, but last night Clyde 3, Forfar Athletic 0. Not sure how you were feeling, Boise, but I was sitting 5 o'clock yesterday to my dinner, and I thought, this is going to be one of those nights, isn't it? These matches that we have over the last couple of seasons really struggled. Teams that we have fancied or we believe we should beat, we just don't get the performance that we probably expect.
Yeah, no, I was actually quite confident during the week. After their result in the Cove game, I could see that the guys were kind of putting their plan into action on trying to fix the final third ball, and I thought we were defending a wee bit better. Rumsby and Howie coming in, Lang being back as well. So no, I genuinely wasn't worried throughout the week. Spoke last week about how I couldn't really see us losing, and that turned out to be the case. Just a comfortable performance really against a Forfar team that's not been scoring a lot. So yeah, we were really happy, and really happy with the goals as well. They were really nicely worked goals. Obviously, David Goodwillie was his solo goal, which I thought echoed his East Fife goal pretty well. So they've clearly not been watching the tape there. And then, Unotu, just game after game, he's proven why Celtic have, invested in him. He's 18 years old. He's running past players that are not there and putting great final balls in. So
yeah, he was excellent last night again. He looked really strong, really physically strong last night.
Yeah, I think you still see little errors and things, but that's part of the parcel. He's a young guy; he'll learn that, and hopefully that's one of the positives they can take from being with Clyde. They can, look at the lower leagues and the way teams play football down here, and basically get better. So.
Aye. Brilliant assist as well. I mean, he done a power of work to get through those two defenders and cut the ball across, and he good vision to cut the ball across to Goodie as well. It was a brilliant effort for that second goal.
Yeah, and Goodie's always in the right position as well, which I think we don't talk about a lot as well.
Yep.
His positioning's fantastic, and the box always seems to be, right there. So
yeah, the ball's thankfully like a magnet to him. It just
absolutely.
If we need a goal, it's there. You touched upon the first goal. The second goal, you've already brought up the assist from Ewan, which I have to say I thought we had lost our chance. I think the initial cross was blocked. At that point, a second Forfar defender came over, and I don't know if Ewan was just doing it to rip the Mickey. He just then dinked the ball beautiful, but took two players out in a split second, cuts by a third, as you say, then has the wherewithal to put the ball across the box to the back post where Goodie's waiting just to knock it home. Fantastic goal. Third goal we'll touch upon with our guest who will be joining us shortly. Craig, the Hammer Howie.
The Hammer Howie.
What a right foot this boy has, and we just didn't realise it.
Tell you what, they're talking about positioning as well, though. He got himself into a good position for when Ali Love had the ball. He's got himself at the edge of that box and he was screaming for it, and he let it go. He hit it well, struck it clean.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to catch up in the comments here. It's very, very busy tonight.
Good.
A comment here from Robbie that he's seen that we didn't have a good record against Forfar at home. That was actually our first victory against Forfar since 1999. 10 matches, albeit in that time. Only 10 matches of clubs haven't always been in the same league. But yeah, our first victory against Forfar since 1999. So if anyone can find out who was in the Clyde starting lineup the last time we beat Forfar, please do let us know in the comments. I'm assuming there's going to be quite a few familiar names in there, probably Pat and Big Rico and the likes. So yeah, the third goal, cherry on the top, boys.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a sign of the confidence we have just now. Is it 25 yards? Is it 40 yards by tonight? I don't know. But yeah, just after his goal against Peterhead, I think he's playing with a great confidence. I'm sure we can ask him about that later. And just an absolute fantastic strike and a perfect way to cap off a very comfortable and productive night for us.
Yeah, it was the boys could smell blood. I think they were pushing to get a fourth, and then I remember the last minute, it must have been 90 minutes in the clock, and we got a corner. And Tom Lang's starting to go up for the corner, and Dave Mitch is just screaming at him to stay and hold his position. He's like, "You don't need to go up. We're 90 minutes. Just run the game out, But he was one goal. Oh god!
One of the reasons I think it was comfortable was when Tom Lang is doing roulettes in midfield. It's not needed, but it's beautiful to see. You love it. You love it.
Again, that shows the confidence in the team as well. He's
absolutely.
Like too right.
Yeah, fetching headwear as well, Tom. Very fetching. Mark Stewart makes a good point, and it's probably in relation as well to the third goal that we scored last night, that basically when Goodie gets the ball down the inside right channel, he is very dangerous. You look at the goals against Keith, he's 5 Forfar, and you could probably quote dozens, if not more. He's quite right. When you get Goodie into that space, I thought it was quite similar when he was going head-to-head with the left-back, and he did that wee shoulder nudge. It reminded me of the time where he sent Conrad Ballatoni almost into a different postcode in Edinburgh when we played Edinburgh City, when he set up was Norway for the winning goal in the 2-1 game.
Yep.
And yeah, he sent Conrad Ballatoni like away, just with a simple nudge. It reminded me of that last night, not to the same extent, but same outcome, Clyde goal. It's just, I put a discussion point down for tonight, and it was just Goodwillie. That's it. That's a discussion point. What this man brings to this team is borderline immeasurable. Craig,
it really is. Absolutely priceless. That's him moved up to 9th in the scoring charts now, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's now only 6 behind the legend that is Harry Hood. I mean, that's the company he's keeping now. That's incredible. It really is. He's probably, I think, about 15 or 16 away from making it into the top 5 goal scorers of all time for Clyde Football Club, and it's only his 4th season. Sorry, it's mental. It's crazy.
And we think back then, you were getting a lot of games back in the 50s, 60s, and before that were finishing 7-3, and it was they played with 5 up front, so you were getting a lot more goals than you get these days. So that to me makes it even such an even bigger feat that he's achieved. Hopefully it keeps going.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The way he looks after himself physically, he's got another 4 or 5 years in him, definitely. So maybe he'll feel differently after the next few weeks, the games. But no, I think he's definitely got that top 5 in his sights for sure. Who knows? Maybe he could do it this season.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, we have a winner for the Clyde 11 for the last time that we beat Forfar. Well done, Fitz, our graphic man. It was Wiley, Cramner, McDonald, Spittle, Smith, Hay, Convery, Grant, Keogh, McCusker and Carrigan, and it was a 1-0 victory for the Bully. And it was super pat. They got the goal. So I wasn't wrong, was I? It was always going to be that team, the title.
That's some 11, that.
It's not bad. Needs Mark McLaughlin at left back, in my opinion.
No, let's not start that again.
Mark Stewart, again, this is probably a recurring theme across many. David Goodwillie is the best Clyde player I've seen in 40 years. I mean, that's high praise. I mean, Mark will have seen many talented players in our famous jersey, but to say that he's the best player he's seen in 40 years, I don't think you can say much higher praise than that.
Yeah, I mean, it just stands out, doesn't it? I've brought many friends to Clyde games, and immediately it's just, who's he? He's amazing. It speaks for itself. But
he's got all.
Continue.
He's got strength, balance. He's got awareness, positioning, finishing. He's a fantastic player. Even last night, there was one the ball get played down the right wing, and he had 2 defenders with him, and he jumped up and chested it round to, I think it was Cuddy. He actually passed the ball with his chest at pace. It was brilliant awareness and brilliant skill to be able to do that, and physique.
I do think he needs to work in his overhead kicks a wee bit though. But that's just the one. Chris.
He's not tried one in about 12 months now. So Stuart Ross has made a great point in with regards to performances of late. Kevin Nicol, everyone is quite rightly singing his praises just now. He has been an absolute rock in the middle of the park, Boise.
Yeah, he's. You know what you get with Kev. You get a hard tackling guy and a guy that'll give us all, and that's what we've seen over the last few weeks. And you've got that added experience as well, which I think has brought all the younger guys together, and we're now playing away a philosophy that suits everyone. And I really think that we're starting to push on now, and I really do believe that we can start looking up rather than down. But I do feel that Kevin is a big asset for that. That kind of shift, if you will.
Definitely.
And his performance against Ayr just epitomised that. It was fantastic.
He's really helped Tom Lang, because Tom, as we know, has got a tendency to run or take the ball and go with it. As soon as he moves out of position, Kevin Nichol's slotting into where Tom was. So it's given that bit of freedom and that bit of. He's been superb.
Yeah. What he might lack in pace these days, he's making up for being able to read the game very well. And obviously playing in the game for so long has obviously helped Kev get that. Now, I'm delighted to say that waiting in the wings, that's the one position I don't think he has played this season, is CRAIG HOWIE. I believe he should just be joining us any second now. There he is.
You see me?
How are we doing, Craig?
Hi, Craig.
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Not bad,
How are you doing? Have you had many ice baths today? Or are you just about recovered?
Mate, I woke up this morning and honestly, getting a carpet burns. I've got over my knees, my legs, every bone and muscle in my body's killing me. But saying that, it's just brilliant being back playing football, even though it's 2-3 games a week. Absolutely loving it. Cannot wait for the game tomorrow. Even though I'm sore, cannot wait.
Is it just the adrenaline at this stage, Craig, that's probably getting yourself and the boys through?
I think so. I just think we feel so we're really underachieved probably at the beginning of the season, even though there was only 8 games or so. And I think we just kind of need to make up for it a little bit. But not just that, you know how close you are to the playoffs, yet you're so close to bottom and second bottom of the league. It's frightening. So there's a wee bit of fear in there that you need to just make sure you're giving 100% and doing that wee bit extra. I mean, I think in that game last night, I think that was like the 5th game in the draw or something I'd played, but second half I seemed to get a wee bit a second wind. No idea where it came from, but it's just one of the things that happens when it's such a big game. And I mean, all the boys are like that right now.
We've got a comment from Scott Butler who's telling you to stop your moaning. I think that's slightly harsh. I think that's very, very harsh. I do not. Honestly, I don't think any Clyde fan can praise the boys highly enough for the past fortnight. The work, the travelling that the boys have had to do, let alone get the results that the boys have, has been absolutely phenomenal. It really has. This past week in particular, Ayr away, far from being an easy tie, got the job done. Tricky match against Cove, probably unlucky not to get all 3 points, as Craig Black you mentioned earlier. Then last night, you've got your goal scoring boots on, Craig. Where did this come from?
I think I'm just as surprised as you. I think that Peterhead goal potentially might have been my first senior goal for the club. I think I scored in Celtic reserves in the Glasgow Cup. First league goal anyway, and for it to come in a game of such importance, because in the first half they probably a wee bit of doing, they kept the ball pretty well and we just really needed that breakthrough, and I think from there we just kind of let the kick on. The second half we really deserved to win the game. Wee Roscoe's goal was frightening, but I don't really know where I pulled that one from, but same thing. Hope I can keep up.
We were kind of in shock watching it. We were like, what happened?
Who's not Goodie on the pitch when we were there looking?
That's another thing. I mean, we went up there 1-2-0 without Goodie and Tom. Two are probably experienced players, so this shows us new character in the team. And 2 goals are probably worth a win in the game.
No, definitely. Just if we can get you to talk through your goal at Peterhead, and I'm sure you will not be upset at having to do this. When Martin McGriff get the ball in the centre circle for a free kick, and you're thinking, I'm going up for a header here, I'm going to try and knock this down for someone. Did you, in your wildest dreams, imagine that you were going to be channeling your inner Van Basten?
So when I was in the park, I obviously went on in the middle, I'd say a mid, which kind of gave me a licence to get forward a bit. And I did peel off a defender hoping that McNiff could play it, but I think I was hoping more for me to knock it back across the box. But it just landed perfectly, kind of chest tight, and really a bit of a blur, to be honest. The ball set up perfect and just thought I'd need to have a strike, and I don't know if I'll hit one as sweet as that again, but it was perfect ending to a Tuesday night beat.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, you say you didn't think you were going to hit a ball as sweet again, but I don't think last night's was a particularly bad strike either. That's why we have now named you Craig the Hammer Howie, just because you've apparently got Albert's left foot, but as a right foot. So long may that continue. And Falkirk, if you're looking, stand off him, let him shoot the distance. He's rubbish. Boyce, have you got anything you want to run with? A couple of questions.
Yeah, so basically we've seen you, Craig, in midfield a wee bit more now. You came to Clyde as a defender. Do you feel like you're obviously enjoying this midfield role? Do you see yourself, staying in it if you continue to score these fantastic strikes?
So I do like if you don't be able to get up the park and attack it a bit more, but I mean overall I think I'm a centre half. I know I like to even play with the ball when I'm at the back, but I think I'm still a better defender than I am in midfield. Whether if I got a run of games in middle of the park, maybe a full season, who knows, I could potentially turn out to be a centre midfielder because I do enjoy it. But since I've been at Clyde, I've played right back, centre half, right centre mid. I mean, I was left centre mid on last night, and I really enjoy it. So who knows? But as long as I'm playing, I'm really not fussed.
Yeah, because I think you touched on it there. You're great with the ball at your feet coming out of defence. So I think that transition into midfield, if called upon, I think you definitely do a job there. With your goal the other night as well, after the Peterhead goal, do you feel that that's a sign of the confidence that the team have after these results going, or did you just see it and think, nah, I'm just smacking this?
So I mean, you look at our last, I don't even know, is it maybe 7 of the games? I think we've had 2 defeats. The rest of the games we've played pretty well, picked up good results. So there's definitely a confidence here, and it's definitely showing in all the boys. The togetherness is brilliant at the moment, and personally, I think the goal at Peterhead's kind of kicked me on a bit, and I'm not scared to have a pop goal. Potentially could have had a couple more over the last couple of games as well. But the confidence is probably the highest it's been in a wee while.
And here's hoping you get that SPFL Goal of the Month award as well for all your hard work. Yeah,
I know there's a few crackers in there, to be fair, but even been nominated, unbelievable, to be honest.
No, good. Aye. Well deserved.
Couple of questions. Sorry, Boyce. Mark Stewart's asking, Craig, what's the biggest difference between the games from your time at East Kilbride to now with Clyde in League One? Because there's quite a lot of good ex-pros or older pros in the Lowland League.
So last year, of course, I would say the biggest difference was the fans. I mean, I love the fact that there's a great atmosphere every week. I think that's probably the one thing that hit me the most, really, the passion that comes from the fans. And even when you are playing teams like Falkirk, when they had the stand and we the stand, and you really just felt that intensity. That was probably the biggest difference. It's probably since the fans obviously haven't been in the last year, there's just a little bit more quality in the final third. I think, see if you give the ball away, say in your own half, there's a good chance you're going to get punished. So games are a lot more intense and got a little bit more cagey. That's probably the biggest difference. And there's no doubt the Lowland Leagues get some top teams and some really, really good players. But I think no matter who you're playing, you can't be sloppy. Because if you give the ball, no matter who it is in the league, as you can see with how tight it is, MD can beat MD, and there's every team's getting that wee bit of quality where you can score a goal out of nothing. So I think that's definitely the biggest point and the biggest difference in the two leagues.
Yeah, so you had mentioned that that all the teams are kind of similar in their makeup and anyone can beat everyone. In this current climate where we've got the rotations and everything, do you feel like the young boys that are in on loan, with their energy and enthusiasm, they're bringing something to Clyde that other teams maybe don't have?
I definitely think so. I'd probably say one of the things that our team lacks is probably a bit of pace. And some of the boys that have brought in, whether it be Ewan or LJ, I mean, that's probably the two that are playing the most at the moment. And they're really giving us their legs and behind. But you really can't fault any of the young boys who've come in. Even the ones that probably haven't had as much game time recently. they've been outstanding, whether it was at training before we got into all these games, and even when they come on the park. I mean, I know what it was like when I first joined. It's a big step up from going for the lower league to League Two. For a lot of these boys, they've never really played competitive football. They go into a game which means so much when there's so little game left in the league. You need to have that confidence to get on the ball and hold up if you're a striker and just do the hard work for the team. So I think it's definitely actually gives an advantage having the young boys in rather than just going down the experience route, which probably would have been what most clubs in their situation would have done.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as you mentioned, you've seen a lot of the clubs kind of take on maybe lowland league players when they've not been playing down there with the games off. But we LJ, as you've mentioned, and certainly Kane, to me, has looked really pacey and really full of enthusiasm. So I feel it definitely brings something to the team, and something that we maybe need if games aren't going our way to change it. So yeah, that's great. Rory Holmes has a wee comment asking if you've got any tips for the Grand National, Craig, just so that he knows what horses to avoid, given your record at the race night last year.
Oh, I'm glad that isn't happening again tonight. It's been an absolute boxing that night. Any tips I give, stay away, certainly.
Stay away, absolutely. Maybe not from the Clyde Grand National one, though, the sweepstake, which Paul's plugged at the start. So Craig Black, even, have you got a wee session for?
Let's do it.
Craig?
We'll do a very quick. What is it you call it again? We'll do the
Teammates.
Soccer AM teammates.
Yeah,
Soccer AM rip-off.
The not Soccer AM rip-off.
This is your chance to throw a couple under the bus, as you said earlier, all right? So, who do you reckon is the best trainer? Who's the one that really stands out at training?
The best trainer, I think it's got to be wee JJ, Josh Jack, known for something. Just the quality he's got. Just even when he's back to goal, he's got a wee turn and the way he whips the ball. It's probably up there with the best that I've seen, and it's every training session. It's not even just here or there and every now and again. It's every session. He's one that probably disappointed not to get more game time. Again, it's just the kind of circumstances that we're in. When you've got a wee bit of momentum, it's hard to mess it up.
Yeah, I think his game time will come though, the way the matches are falling. So, right. So on the counter side of that, who's the worst trainer? Who's the laziest?
So I think a few boys have mentioned this. It's actually a good group. For training wise, there's really no MD that's slacking. But who I'm going to chuck under the bus here is Murray. See MD that gets Murray in their team. Wow. As soon as Murray's in your team, you're thinking. As soon as he gives the ball away, it's somebody in his team's fault. It's never his fault, but very rarely does he keep the ball. So you're hoping he just stays out.
Cool. Right, so who's the biggest moaner? Who's the one that does the most moaning?
It's probably our two experienced heads. It's got to be Mitch and Goodie. Mitch, some of Mitch's shouts, I don't even know what he's shouting at, to be honest. And a lot of time you can't really hear in a game either, so it's just give the old thumbs up and pass on the game. Goodie's probably a little bit more different. It's if you don't thread the ball through to him correctly, he just gets frustrated and he lets you know that. But the two definitely love him more.
We'll keep a wee eye out for the thumbs up in the stream.
I know.
So who's the most intelligent and least intelligent in the squad?
Most intelligent, I'm going to give myself. I'll give myself that one. I don't think there's anybody else is standing out to me. Definitely I'll take a title. And least intelligent, I guess it's got to be a wee Marky. Wow. Some of the
Put Marky's taking a beating.
I can imagine he's taking a beating on this one. So I think there's many arguments on that one, but
we've heard some of the quizzes on the bus. Kind of showed that,
yeah. I know. Oh, some of the answers. Geography especially for him. Don't ask my geography question.
Well, last one for you. Who do you think the squad is currently the most knackered out of the lot of you?
See,
You?
I would say one of some older players. I mean, obviously played in next to Big Kev, but he absolutely strolls every game, and he's 34 or something. So I couldn't say him. I mean, there's been boys that have played. I mean, Scotty's played in the 5 or 6 90s in a row as well. So he's not letting on that he's knackered, but I imagine he is. Because everybody's legs are feeling it.
Brilliant. That's us.
Yeah.
How are you? How are you enjoying Kevin Nicol being back? What's he bringing?
So I didn't ever get to play with Kev. Everybody always said what type of player he was. He was absolutely loves a 50-50, and he definitely does. You can see that. But
I think Kev loves a 70-30.
I know. He's so good on the ball as well, and playing whether it's at the back or in the middle of the park with him. He's always looking for it. Always try to play the nice pass, like the simple pass. And to be fair, he's been brilliant since he came in. And again, he's one that Sparta's brilliant as well on the bus. I was in the bus out to Peterhead to him as well, and he's got to be the most lucky guy I've ever came across.
There's a brilliant question here, from Andrew Rennie. If you can cast your mind back to the Queen of the South, it was a Challenge Cup or League Cup tie a couple of years ago. Challenge Cup, I think it was. When Chris McStay scored his overhead kick, there was a brilliant photo taken by Mr. Craig Black, it will have been, where your face is an absolute picture. What was going through your mind when you saw that?
I still think possibly to this day it is the best goal I've ever seen. I mean, the touch and the hope at the kick was ridiculous. Like, it's potentially the best goal I've ever seen. And I think at the time of the game, I don't know if that was to bring it to 2 each.
2 each, I think it was, aye.
We were kind of on the ascendancy and just trying to get that goal, and I know where he just pulled that out of the bag, and I couldn't believe it at the time. And Craig got the perfect photo.
That was funny.
It's amazing though. What a goal.
That was phenomenal goal. So it's another busy week ahead for the boys starting tomorrow. Probably doesn't come much more difficult in League One at the moment than Falkirk. They're on a wee bit of a slump. We're obviously hoping to continue that for them. This season, the earlier match wasn't great though, was it? So looking to right the wrongs.
Aye, exactly. I don't know. I don't think I played in the one at the start of the season. I think it was potentially out of COVID at that point. But again, there's not a single game in this league that you go into and you think we can't go and win this game. And it's evident, and I suppose all the teams probably feel the same. And was it just last week they get beat off Airdrie? So it's definitely the potential for another upset there, because it's again the feeling in amongst the dressing room at the moment is we can definitely beat MD. It's hard to knock the Academy. I know exactly what you will be going through at the moment. As soon as you get a win, you're thinking we could be here, but then you don't want to lose track of how close you are to the bottom two as well. So definitely tomorrow with no doubt that we can definitely look to go and actually pick up 3 points. A point, say, still what I say at the moment, it would be a good or a bad result because you want to go out and get the 3 points, but definitely not going out there to try and just hold on to a point.
Good to hear.
And over our time, these are the matches that we tend to play well in. It's normally the Forfars and those types of games that we have struggled in. It's against the so-called big boys of the league that time and time again we tend to get the job done.
Yeah, I agree, and that's probably why the Peterhead game and the Forfar game last night were so important, because over the last couple of years it's been those games that we've came away from thinking what an opportunity we've missed, because we do usually do well against the so-called big boys. So the fact that we've beaten those two teams over the last week just gives us no doubt that we can definitely try and kick on and starting on tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually think the two games have come at a really good time because we are playing some really nice football, especially down the wings. Unotu as well. He's always looking for that overlap, and it's energy. I always talk about it. It's something that we've got to go and attack the so-called big teams, and within the space of a couple of days, we've got Falkirk and them. So yeah,
I know. And with that game, talking about Kednick, so that's another one. He's almost brought us together as a better unit. I mean, at the start of the season, we definitely had a very young midfield. Potentially Barry being the oldest, that was 24, something like that. Yeah. Now we've got Kev in there, we've got Michael who's come in, both of them obviously over 30. We've got a real shape about us, and then we can spring, as I say, and we've got pace down the channels coming for the full-backs, or even if it's LG or Goodie in the channel, we've got a bit of pace now. So now you've got a solid shape and you've got a bit of pace going opposite, then I definitely stand you in good stead.
Yeah, I think Barry's just showing everyone how good he is in midfield. Like he's just an absolute engine. I don't know, is he still running just now? Like after the game, just keep running.
He's brilliant. Honestly, see whether he was at right back, it's the same. Right back, centre mid. It's a full joy. He's just so energetic. Is just gives you everything. His quality's surprisingly like top tier as well. For somebody who's always about the park, really getting in people's faces. He's one that really impresses me every single game, particularly with his work rate.
The last three or four, a few games have looked a lot more solid at the back as well. Don't look as easy to beat as we went through that wee spell. So
yeah, so continue. I've got a few stats here as well, Craig, just that you mentioned that. So since the restart, we've had 8 games and we've scored 12 goals and 7 against. And obviously we had the poor start, but over the last kind of wee week, with 5 games, scored 7 and had 2 against. So, it's clear to see that something's going right and, we're in the ascendancy. So long may it continue.
And there was a stat that was flung at us today as well, wasn't there, about Mr. the Hammer Howie? That we tend to concede a goal every 77 minutes when you're on the pitch. So what we've said is we need to get you subbed off at 76 minutes every game.
But conversely, to put this actually in a positive light, Craig, for every minute you're on the pitch, we score a goal every 50 or so. So
we're winning.
Actually, you have the highest win percentage of all the Clyde players in the current squad at 50% of matches played. So Craig plays, we win. If you're watching, Danny, just
simple.
Get Ian McKinley on speed dial if he's aching and pain says get him ready for the starting 11. Martin Brune has got a good wee question, I think, here. Craig, do you think this strange schedule is actually helping the players' kind of skill set individually and the team cohesion?
I think so. It's just building a bit of momentum. Talking about momentum in football, it's a weekly basis usually. When it's every 2 days, I think it literally has been 5 games in the last 10 days. And when you get that bit of momentum and you've got that solid shape that I mentioned, it's almost just becomes instinct just to get into that and then break at the right time. So I think playing every second day is definitely actually benefits. And I think also when you've not played much, say this year, you're just desperate to get back into it, and you can see the enthusiasm in all the boys. Everyone's frustrated at how stop-start the season's been. So they get the opportunity to play 3 times a week. I think boys are thriving off it.
Good.
Yeah. So after the Ayr performance, how was the reaction to finding out that we get St Johnstone and possibly Rangers and Celtic? Was it a case of excellent, we've got Rangers and Celtic, or we're knackered, no more games?
So when I think about it, St Johnstone are potentially the one team you didn't want, because if it's Rangers or Celtic, you've got the big tie. Outside of that, they're up there with the informed teams in the country. It's at a park that probably not great, and we're going to be off the back of three games in a week period, so it'll be like 9 games that we've played over the 21 days. So the odds are very, very stacked against us.
I like the way you're playing this down for any St Johnstone people that are watching. Keep it going.
So they are, to be fair, the odds are massively against us, but it's a Scottish Cup, and probably most people wouldn't have thought we would beat Ayr either, and I think we deservedly beat Ayr. So again, it's, you know, we'll definitely knackered going into the game. I still wouldn't take it away from us the opportunity of actually going and beating them, because again, it's a cup game, and when you've got the illness that we've got at the moment, you never know who you could go and beat.
Right.
Yeah. And they're only the League Cup winners, so they can't be that hard. that's it.
Easy away. I think that echoes what Ian's saying as well. There's Danny going to arrange friendlies every Tuesday and Thursday next season to keep this going. I don't know how you would feel about that.
No. It's good in a sense not training every week, because everybody loves playing games, even though it's just tiring on the legs. I mean, if somebody had to choose training over a game, I'd be questioning them. But it's definitely been enjoyable.
A random question from Kieran McReynolds. What's your favourite yellow card? I don't know if Kieran's had a few too many beers already. It's only 5 to 8, Kieran.
Is it one of Kev's?
I don't know if he's picked
his favourite's going to be the one he's going to get scoring the winner against Thistle in the last minute on Tuesday.
Yeah,
that'll be his favourite.
Oh, we'd love it. We'd love it.
Celebrate.
Yeah, big week to come. Big week to come. With obviously the derby on Tuesday. Another 1-0 victory for us would go nice. A 5-0 victory would be better, but as far as back-to-back games go, can't really get much tougher. Falkirk, then Thistle away. Next Thursday, potentially huge match as well, home to Dumbarton. It's get a kind of feel about it that could be the game that decides, hopefully not, but could sway who takes 9th place going into the post-split fixtures. We may very well find ourselves well clear of that once we've taken 6 from 6 from the next 2 games. And we're beating Dumbarton to sneak into 4th place. Big ask still with the boys. Of course, all the guys watching from afar will be firmly behind yourself, Craig, and all the boys, obviously. We can't wait to get back to actually cheer on the boys. Just before we do look to finish up, Craig, have you got a message for the Clyde fans? Just obviously it's been a frustrating season for all. Probably no more so than the players not having the fans.
Basically, not personal. Not as I massively miss the fans. But I'm saying it's probably the one thing that I noticed the most coming from the Lone League to Clyde, and without a doubt, Clyde fans taking to me and appreciate it so much. So I personally can't wait for the Clyde fans to be back. I'd love it to be this season. Obviously, not going to happen. Hopefully next season, Clyde fans are back in. Hopefully I'm still at the club, I go for a contract, and from there, just hopefully they kick on and take the club, hopefully, into the Premiership after it's promoted.
Oh, there we go. That's.
I was expecting Championship, not Premiership. My goodness.
Boys, we've got a new captain positivity here. He's just came in and stole your crown straight off your head. That's
fine with me.
So you heard it here. Craig Howie's promised us Premiership football in 2-3 seasons. So let's get the contract signed.
Get the man a contract.
Gentlemen, Craig, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Good luck tomorrow. Hopefully your legs aren't too many bits come 5 o'clock, but we've got 3 points to ease the pains. Boise, Mr. Black, as always, pleasure. Thank you for your time. Thank you to everyone for getting involved in the comments. There's been too many coming in. It's been brilliant to see. Until next week, we will be back, usual 7 p.m. Please do follow A State of Mind as well on YouTube. Very, very close now to 11,000 followers or subscribers, I should say. So do get following for all your free daily content, including yours truly every Friday at 7 p.m. So until then, come on the Bully Wee.